right, so we're here at Winston's in Saskatoon, joined by Mark Heisey, Vice President and Brewmaster of Rebellion Brewing Company. You had some pretty exciting news on November 4th. Lentil Cream Ale was launched. So where did the idea for lentil ale come from?
It's a bit of a long story. I'll try to keep it short. Really, it came from my cousin Tyler. So it's got a bit of a family connection. My cousin Tyler works for AGT Foods. He reached out to me and said, hey, have you ever thought of making a beer with lentils? I had not, because that doesn't really sound like a great idea off the first start. But anyways, we're at Rebellion. We like to try different things. We're always looking for new ingredients. We like local angle, all that stuff. And so we were able to get some lentils donated by AGT to experiment with. And we made a test batch, and it tasted really good. And so they were really excited about it as well, and were really pushing for us to, make it a regular product. They also, too, are looking for new ways of using lentils, especially in the local market, and in beer. Nobody's really done lentil beer before, other than I found one brewery in Italy and another brewery in Portland, Oregon. So that's really it. It ended up tasting really good, and it was a chance to be innovative and unique and use a great local product.
So what does the brewing process entail?
The brewing process is really not a whole lot different. What people do need to know, when we call it lentil cream ale, there's still a lot of malted barley in it. We basically just replaced some of the malted barley with lentils. So we're just supplementing it, no different than if you're making a wheat beer. A wheat beer still has a lot of barley with just a bit of wheat added to it as well. So in some ways it's kind of a replacement for wheat if we were going to make a wheat beer.
So tell us about some of the ingredients that you've sourced for this ale. They're all Saskatchewan grown?
Yeah, the malted barley we get comes from Bigger. There's a malting facility there. And then the lentils are from AGT. They're actually called King Red lentil. It's a proprietary lentil. It was just the first one that we tried. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll try some others.
What do you look for in the lentils that you source?
We're really just looking, we're always looking for flavor. Lentils obviously have a lot of protein, a lot of starch. There's a richness in there. We're not interested in bland, tasteless flavors that are a lot of industrial breweries will use stuff like rice or high fructose corn syrup in their beers, and that's really just meant to be bland and cheap and not add any flavor and lower the cost of the product. We want anything that's going to be rich and add additional flavors. Lentils are, they're so rich and earthy. I'd love to mess around with beluga lentils. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So who knows? I have no idea what a beluga lentil would do.
So we're on the topic of taste. Tell us about the taste of the ale.
So our lentil cream ale, it's only 4% alcohol. So quite light, but the flavors are still very, very bold and very prominent. Not offensive in any way, though. Very smooth. The lentils, like I say, protein, the proteins and the complex carbs in there give a lot of body to the beer, which really changes. Most 4% beers are really light and watery, and really don't taste good. But the lentils in this one, it gives it, I always tell people it adds a lot more oomph. It just gives it that richness, more fuller flavors. And then the best description I can give is that it's a little bit earthy, if you think of lentils in that regard. It just gives it a little bit of an earthy flavor, not offensive or unappetizing. It's not like lentil soup. It's not a hint of lentil soup. Don't confuse it with that. It's just a very Moorish beer, okay? Moorish is a weird beer term, but it tastes like there's a lot more flavor than in a normal 4% beer.
Do you think that it'll open consumers' minds to using lentils and other pulses as non-traditional ingredients? And to substitute traditional ingredients?
I think so. I mean, the idea with that, you can use lentils for a whole lot of things. Me personally, I've eaten lentils my whole life. I love eating lentils all the time. It's just part of my everyday thing. Again, I know a lot of people, for most people, it's foreign when I mention, say, beluga lentils or king red lentils. No one can relate to that. At best, you can relate to like a bit of a lentil soup, and that's about it. I think we're just scratching the surface in terms of all the things that you can use lentils for. And, we're very proud to be, pushing the edge, pushing the boundary and exploring different things and putting out a really cool, innovative product that tastes great.